Hello, and thank you so much for joining us here on CBS 8 Plus. I'm Nada Iranpour. Here at CBS 8, we are working for you. We're getting to the bottom of problems that you've asked us about, and we're looking for solutions. We're going to begin with more frustration over high subscription rates for the Union Tribune. We first brought you this story on Tuesday, and since then we have heard from other viewers who say they too have noticed their subscriptions have mysteriously skyrocketed. CBS 8's Shannon Handy has been working for you on this story and shows us what she discovered.
Earlier this week, I spoke with the family of a 90-year-old woman who could not believe how much she was paying for the paper, over $200 a month. Turns out she's not the only one.
On its face, it seems very unscrupulous.
Ricky Munoz never questioned her parents' Union Tribune subscription. That is until April, when she started helping them with their finances. That's when she saw a reoccurring charge for $282 every 6 weeks.
That's an insane price to pay for, I don't know what the cover price is of the Tribune, but probably $2 or something like that.
Ricky's parents live in Talmadge and get the paper delivered 7 days a week. I checked, and just as she suspected, on weekdays the paper costs $2 plus a bit more on weekends. Still, even with delivery, that doesn't seem to add up or justify what they and others are paying.
I'm like, that is outrageous.
Earlier this week, I interviewed Mike Bonk and his wife, who discovered his 90-year-old mother is paying over $200 a month, up from around $150 in June. Like Ricky, they claim she was never warned. Online, the Union Tribune advertises 7-day home delivery for $25 a month with no mention of a price increase.
Nothing. It just happened automatically. And she just pays the credit card bill. She doesn't look, so she doesn't know.
And they're not the only ones. Ricky reached out to me after seeing my story with Mike. So did others. I saw similar complaints on the Better Business Bureau as well. For days now, I have been sending emails and making calls to the Union Tribune to find out if these are legitimate charges or a mistake. So far, the only response I've received is from an operator who says the rates online are introductory and they change when someone renews. In an email, a customer service representative apologized for the so-called confusion, writing in part, "The publishing industry has been impacted by the rising operational costs of doing business. I will continue to push for clarity." In the meantime, Ricky says they've canceled their subscription, yet still saw a $331 charge from the UT. They're working to get a refund. Mike, on the other hand, is keeping his mom's subscription, saying she loves the paper, though he too is trying to get money back and a lower rate. Both say, if anything, they want their stories to be a lesson to others, especially the elderly who may not pay close attention to their bills.
Feels to me very unethical.
Late today, I did hear from UT's director of marketing. She says right now a 7-day delivery costs $46.95 a month, adding the prices promoted are introductory. Working for you, I'm Shannon Handy for CBS 8.
Definitely a reminder there to check your credit card, what you're being charged. We now have an update on a legal fight over transparency when it comes to drones used by police departments. It centers around you having access to that video. After a 4-year legal battle between the Chula Vista Police Department and a local journalist, law enforcement agencies statewide must now release drone footage that is not part of an active investigation. CBS 8's Alex Lai working for you and shares details of the latest ruling and how this affects you.
Well, people have privacy concerns about law enforcement using drones. They're worried about home surveillance or if it can see through windows. Now, with this ruling, people can access the videos and see for themselves.
And this was the final step. This was the final approval or appeal of this case after more than 4 years.
Art Castañares, a publisher and editor of La Prensa newspaper, filed a public records request for 1 month of drone footage in 2021.
And they rejected my request, saying that all of the videos that the police record from drones are categorically exempt.
Police said all of its drone footage is considered investigative records and is exempt from the California Public Records Act. The case went through multiple courts, and last week, the California Supreme Court rejected Chula Vista's request to hear the case a second time.
And this case is the first of its kind in the country that requires them now to watch these videos specifically to see what's in them. And now they're going to be forced to release the ones that aren't directly tied to investigations.
Castañares says Chula Vista PD reviewed footage from March 2021 and found 28 videos to be non-investigative. So far, he's received a few and is expecting the rest of them soon. He shared 2 videos with CBS 8. One, titled No Vehicle Collision, Castañares says was from a call about a crash on the freeway, but the drone didn't find anything. He says another was for a reported unoccupied vehicle in the road, but again, nothing was found.
I think this is opening the door to a lot more information that the public and the media will be able to access.
Privacy advocates like the Electronic Frontier Foundation call this a major step toward transparency.
For example, right, so Chula Vista says when we fly, when it's first launched and if it's over a residential area, the camera tilts toward the sky. But if we have the drone footage, we'll be able to see at the point of launch, the camera's going to look up, you're going to see clouds, you're going to see the sun and things like that.
The city of Chula Vista tells CBS 8 in a statement, in part, the city remains committed to safeguarding residents' privacy, securing video unless disclosure is required by law, and maintaining transparency. Program information, including every flight path, is available online, along with public tours, clear operational policies, and required disclosures under the Public Records Act. And this ruling applies to all police departments statewide that use drones, including Oceanside. Reporting in Chula Vista, Alex Lai, CBS 8.
Alex, thank you for explaining that. And right now we are hearing from people who live in La Jolla Shores, many of them concerned about these massive pine trees and their large limbs. Neighbors say they're a safety hazard. They're actually worried about how city crews maintain them. Look at the size. CBS 8's Brian White is working for you on this, finding out what the city's doing to prevent these limbs from falling.
Yeah, here in front of this home on La Jolla Shores Drive, right above, you can see this massive branch cracked and leaning and hanging over the sidewalk and fence here, and neighbors say it's just a matter of time before it comes down.
You can see that it's broken, and the rest of the branches are supporting what's left, but this is about to come down. It's about to come down and take out our neighbor's new fence as well.
This is just the latest concern for Danielle Derrick, who's lived in the area for 6 years. She says massive limbs have fallen before. One even destroyed a neighbor's fence just a couple of years ago. Since then, she says big branches continue to fall every 6 months or so.
The problem here is that this sidewalk is used by a lot of pedestrians either to go down to the shores or up to the cove. And if you didn't know any better, you wouldn't know that this half-ton branch was ready to come down on top of somebody.
I reached out to the City of San Diego's Transportation Department. They told me a Get It Done report was received more than 2 weeks ago, and they sent a crew out that same day, but no broken limbs were found. Neighbors disagree and say the problem is bigger than one branch.
This whole tree needs to be trimmed. If you see all of the pine needles and the pine cones and just the old growth, and there's branches that are disconnected up here.
Longtime neighbor Tom Harborn says he's watched city maintenance drop off over the years.
Major branches drop down, major, and they haven't been laced out properly. And that's the whole key to keeping them alive and well.
The city says these Italian stone pine trees along this section of La Jolla Shores Drive were last pruned 4 years ago. Tom's lived here 30 years and says they're not maintaining them like they used to.
Will only come out if something falls down and breaks and crashes. And it's only, in my opinion, a function of not being laced out and properly cared for.
The city tells me an arborist will assess the overall health of the tree within 30 days, and if necessary, they'll hire a contractor for any trimming that's needed. We'll keep you updated. Working for you in La Jolla, Brian White, CBS 8.
Good to know there. Hundreds of new homes are a step closer to breaking ground. Coming up next, the safety concerns for future residents and how the developer is responding. And during these hot days of summer, it's important to stay hydrated, but how you do it is up for debate. What doctors have to say about a common question. Despite pushback from people concerned over its fire safety plan, this controversial housing development is moving forward. The County Planning Commission recently approved the Harmony Grove Village South development. It plans to bring more than 450 homes. This is in the Escondido area. The project would be exempt from county fire codes requiring 2 exit routes, leaving just one way in and out. And people who live nearby are worried that design could potentially trap families who who may be trying to get away from a wildfire. It is not a done deal just yet. The development now heads to the full County Board of Supervisors for a final approval. Meanwhile, a spokesperson for the development sharing a statement in response to the decision, saying in part, quote, "We must move beyond baseless scare tactics and continue working together to tackle our community's homelessness and housing crisis." That's part of what they said. We all know the recent hot, humid weather, reminder of how important it is for all of us to stay hydrated. But how much water should you really be drinking? And should it be ice cold or room temperature? Working for you, CBS 8's Alex Lai now has tips to keep you healthy when the heat turns up.
Nothing beats a sip of ice-cold water on a hot day, but doctors say it may not be the best way to keep yourself hydrated. Working for you, we found the best tips to avoid dehydration in San Diego's heat. Fun in the San Diego sun can turn dangerous if you don't drink enough water.
Symptoms like I don't have as much energy, I feel fatigued, maybe I have headaches, maybe I have lightheadedness, and we can see things progress to cause more serious problems like kidney damage.
Working for you, I spoke with Dr. Bryn Taylor, a family medicine physician at Kaiser Permanente. She says the amount of water you need depends on your weight, body, and activity level.
In broad terms, we think about 4 liters a day for gentlemen, 3 liters a day for ladies.
Even when it's hot and muggy out, Dr. Taylor says we still need to hydrate more.
You're losing some of that fluid when you're sweating. Also because our bodies need it in terms of increasing our temperature, right? So if we're in a hot environment, that body temperature can rise, and so then we're gonna lose more fluid that way.
So what's the best temperature to drink?
Great question. If you don't have a choice about it, drink what you have in front of you. But ideally, when we look at the science, we're looking at trying to hydrate with things that are a little bit cooler than the ambient temperature. You would want to think maybe 15 to 20 degrees cooler than what you're feeling in the air.
Dr. Taylor says that helps your body better absorb water.
It's one thing to take it in, but really at the end of the day, we want that hydration to be absorbed by our bodies, distributed to our cells, distributed to our organ systems.
If you're doing intense activity for more than an hour, including kids in sports, she recommends adding natural electrolytes.
I like to think of fruits and vegetables, right? Grapes, watermelon, pineapple.
And it's not just what you should be drinking, but also what you shouldn't be drinking.
The things you want to look out for are things like energy drinks that may be high in sugar, maybe high in caffeine. Alcohol can be a risk also.
And plan ahead if you know you'll be out in the heat.
24 hours before you're going to do that activity, and then 2 to 3 hours before that activity, you want another boost.
Dr. Taylor says if you take certain medications, check with your doctor about your hydration needs. So before you head out, remember to pack chilled water, maybe some electrolytes, and always listen to your body. Working for you, Alex Lai, CBS 8.
Okay, so keep it chill, apparently. Next up, some local recreational athletes are being benched. We get to the bottom of why all of a sudden local sports leagues are being priced out of San Diego. Welcome back here. The San Diego County DA's office is warning the public about a re-emerging drug called Carfentanil, which it says is 100 times more powerful than fentanyl. We know that's already powerful. The DA's office says Carfentanil is used to tranquilize large animals like elephants, yeah, that big, and it's now being laced in fake pills found here in San Diego.
We know that it's becoming harder and harder to get some drugs through the border, and because of that, it looks like the cartels are shifting.
And that was DA Summer Stephan talking about this. Last year, more than 900 people in San Diego died of a drug overdose. 900 people. The city of San Diego trying to balance its budget, but a new plan is getting a lot of pushback. People in adult sports leagues are outraged after learning they'll have to pay nearly 3 times as much to play these sports they love. CBS 8's Steve Price has reaction from some league organizers.
People who play in adult sports leagues say the city of San Diego is spiking their fund by raising fees to a point where many say they'll be priced out of playing.
I don't want to something really fast, right?
Life's a Beach Volleyball Club runs clinics for people to improve their skills. The donation-based event isn't about making money. It's about San Diegans hanging out, enjoying the outdoors, and having fun.
Our mission statement is to make beach volleyball approachable to everyone. So in service of that mission, we get every type of person to show up. We've had from 11 to probably about 70 years old.
Dan Palanchar pays the city a fee to use the beach and has never had a problem with that until now.
And that passes 8-1 with Councilmember Moreno voting no.
Back in March, the city council voted to increase fees, not by the 19% that was recommended, but instead, in some cases, by nearly 200%.
When there's for-profit companies using city facilities, they should be treated differently. They should not be subsidizing their work.
Adult in-season field use per team when there's no lights jumped from $111 at the start of the year to $317. Lit fields rose from $138 to $393.
We're going to have to raise fees to almost $900 a team. People aren't going to be able to pay it when they can't pay for gas and food.
Kevin Hellman runs San Diego softball leagues. He says field rental costs will jump from $5,000 up to around $12,000, costs he'll have to pass on to players.
While the city might think we're making boatloads of money, as I've told several council people, I will give you my tax return. You'll see what I made.
The city, facing a $258 million budget deficit, says it has to make tough choices. League owners say they understand that and didn't complain when the city recommended raising their fees by 19%. But they say balancing a bigger chunk of the budget on their backs isn't the way to do it.
Physical health, mental health, social health. These are what we offer, and we'd like to think that the city is interested in promoting businesses that offer that to their constituents, and we'd love to work more closely and formally with them to expand on that mission and whatever their missions are as well.
The city says the increased fees could generate almost $1 million for the general fund. In Mission Beach, Steve Price, CBS 8.
Interesting to hear the perspectives there. Thank you, Steve, for that. Up next, helping San Diego's youngest patients when it matters the most. We're going to bring you some of our favorite stories from our Working for Kids series and show how you can help. You hear that excitement. Look at those smiles. A lot of tails were wagging. We want to say a huge thank you to everybody who helped make our Working for Kids telethon a big success. Last Tuesday, our CBS 8 team taking calls, raising money for Rady Children's Hospital to launch a professional canine therapy program. All the volunteers that came through, it was awesome. CBS 8 viewers, you donated more than $477,000 in just 13 hours. Well done. So yes, you made it happen to launch this program. This program will now pair specialists with highly trained dogs to be a part of a child's treatment plan. But it takes community support to make it all happen. In the weeks leading up to our big telethon, CBS 8's Abby Black showed us how your donations can help these specially trained dogs make a difference.
Brothers Maurice and Xavi are champions for Rady Children's Hospital, and they hope that you'll champion the campaign to launch a new resident canine therapy program. This summer, we've been working for kids, helping to bring canine comfort to young patients who need it most.
The smile that 3-year-old Golden Doodle Fetchy,
he's just cute,
brings to Michaela,
mostly a rascal,
is pure joy.
This can be used for physical therapy.
That's why CBS 8 is working for kids to launch the first professional resident canine therapy program at Rady Children's Hospital, serving nearly 300 pediatric patients each year. Insurance does not cover this, so it's fully funded through donations to pay for the care of 3 full-time resident canines and the child life specialists who handle these doctors.
Having a resident dog here at Rady Children's was going to allow us, as child life specialists, to be able to connect with these patients and families so much more quicker and be able to provide a comforting space and presence for these families to allow them to heal and hopefully get home quicker.
It's in a white package.
At Canine Companions, these special dogs start training at 8 weeks old in puppy raising homes.
Let's go. Good boy. Nice. There's, wheelchairs and different sounds of hospitals.
Good.
At 2 years old, they enter 6 to 9 months of intensive training with medical equipment.
They have to be what we call very sound, which means they're going to be exposed to a lot of different things, a lot of sounds, a lot of sights, a lot of emotional input and output.
This makes the visit way better.
From patients.
Good boy.
And other staff.
Everyone come to the center.
Child life specialists go through a 7-step application to be paired with their dog.
Tug. Come on, buddy. You got it, buddy. Come on.
But the real magic happens adapting those skills for each patient.
Yes. Good job.
We might have a fake needle or a fake medicine pill or food that we might, like a carrot, and the dog is experimenting with that.
So when we go into our surgery, we might ask you to wear a hat. I'm going to put a hat on Teo.
It just shows the patient that it can be done, and they're brave and they can do it. When we see the child life specialist and the light bulb go off in their mind of like, we're seeing the dog tug open a door.
Good boy.
They're seeing a world of other opportunities of how they can help their patients.
What do you think?
And you can help young patients be brave. A simple command may have a big impact.
Oh, so nice. There it is. It takes the community coming together and deciding that we need a program like this to be able to start and sustain an important program that will really help our kids.
He loves you. Look at that.
That healing power helps children feel safe, calm, and motivated to recover.
I'm just a dog person. I just love dogs a lot. Dogs are fun.
Working for kids, Abby Black, CBS 8.
Oh, don't they just bring you all these smiles? Yeah, dogs have a superpower. Just because the Give-a-thon is not over doesn't mean you can't still help. You can still donate at cbs8.com/fur or scan the QR code. You'll see that right there on the side of your screen. Just scan your phone right over it. A heads up here, if you own a Jeep Wrangler, the make and model are at the top of the list of the most stolen cars in San Diego. We see a lot of those here in town. Public records obtained by CBS 8 show the 225, I should say, Jeep Wranglers were stolen last year. In second place, the Hyundai Elantra with 201 reported thefts. The trend continues so far this year for Wrangler owners, with the Honda Civic thefts not far behind. So a heads up to Wrangler owners. And that's going to do it for us here. Remember, if there's something you want us to look into, just email us. Thanks.